Hi friends, it's Belinda here from Be Making Joy, and welcome to my channel. This is where I come to you every couple of weeks from my home in Calgary, Alberta, and share with you what brings me joy. So this is episode 11 of What Brings Me Joy. We'll talk a bit about my knitting projects, some of my designs, stuff I'm knitting for other people's designs that I'm knitting, and a little bit about my life. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you. Today is Tuesday, July 4th. This episode should be posted at midnight tonight, so you'll be watching it on Wednesday. It's a happy Wednesday. Happy WIP Wednesday. In this episode, I have 3 finished objects, 1 new WIP to talk about, and the yarn all wound and ready for 2 more projects. I have also received my Pokemon yarn calendar box from Fangirl Fibers to open 1 each day through the month of July. So I've started posting those, a short video each day, with my daughter helping me out with that. But I'll show you in the acquisitions section on this video what has been opened so far. So, welcome. Let's get started with the finished object that I'm wearing. This is, back up enough, the Lemon Difficult Shawl by Kate Afterly. I took a class with Kate back in May at the Gathering Threads Festival in Edmonton on brioche. So this is brioche. This is my first time doing brioche. So let's see, that weekend at the festival I did probably this much that weekend. And then on a trip to Victoria, I worked up to where the progress marker is. There it is. So I did that much to Victoria. And then on our trip to Coeur d'Alene, I did this much more. And, well, let's see. The pattern is written for fingering weight yarn, but she said that any gauge will work. It doesn't really matter what yarn you're using. So I used a worsted weight yarn. This is Red Heart and acrylic. It's reversible. I don't know which one was which. Worsted weight acrylic, but it's very nice fabric. I enjoy the fabric, but my hands were getting tired of knitting it, so I decided to end it. My reasoning originally was that I wanted a nice warm shawl, and it is going to be very warm. There's no air getting through that. Very nice. But then, as I was looking for an excuse to end it, I realized that if it was cold enough to wear this as a shawl, I probably want a jacket instead. So I decided to end it there so that it can just go around my neck under a jacket. It takes me a little, there we go. So as I said, it's reversible, so let's wear this side for a bit. So that was the Lemon Difficult Shawl by Kate Afterly. Then, the rest of the trip to Coeur d'Alene, I worked on these, another pair of spa socks. So I've shown these in previous episodes. Socks with no heel, no toes, just dividers between the toes. Spa socks that I'm working on. Moisturize your feet and put these on and do your toenails. So now I've done 3 pairs in 3 different sizes. Not sure if I prefer the bamboo ones or the acrylic. I've worn them both. The bamboo feels really nice against the feet, but the acrylic is slightly less absorbent, so the moisturizer stays on your feet a little better. Either way, I love them both. I'm working on 1 more size, and then you can look for a testing call from me. You can follow me on Instagram or Yarn Pond and find out when I'm looking for test knitters. These are done in a DK weight yarn on, what size needles did I use now? 3.5 millimeter needles, US size 4 needles. So it's a very fast knit. But slowing me down is working on the math for the different sizes. So it's going to come in 4 different sizes. 3 of them are done. So that's that. My spa socks. Haven't quite decided on a name for them yet. Let's see. Our third finished object this week is another water bottle holder with a pocket for a cell phone. The cell phone's not in here because I'm recording on it. So that pattern is all complete and listed on Ravelry and Etsy. Available now. And I have a coupon code for you. You can get it for 50% off for the month of July using the word hydrate in all capital letters. Hydrate, hydrate, in all caps. So this pattern is done on 4.5 millimeter needles, US 7, with any worsted weight yarn. So that's that. The water bottle holder with a cell phone pocket. And I am going quite fast, so maybe I should stop and take a breath here. In other news, our Elana Seafoam crop top pattern is now published, or being published as we speak. So at the same time that this video goes up, the pattern should be live. And by the way, that coupon code will work for it too. So it will be available in both my Ravelry store and my Etsy store. And Bianca here is wearing my first sample that I knit for my daughter. And Monica is wearing the second one that I knit for myself. So even though I keep calling it a crop top, it's actually, the pattern gives you instructions for both the crop version and the waist length version. And because I did the first sample for my daughter, based on her ideas, we named it after her, the Elana Seafoam crop top pattern. And the construction starts at the bottom and works up, and then the sleeves are picked up around and worked in shoulder shaping in short rows and out. And even though hers has a different color in the sleeve, the pattern is written for just solid though. And there's the choice of either the seafoam stitching on the bottom to match the sleeves, or the ribbing across the bottom that my daughter chose. It's done in a DK weight yarn, and I think that was also on 4.5 needles. Let's see. Anyway, I always recommend that you check for gauge anyhow and choose the needles that gives you the gauge that the pattern calls for. And as returning viewers know, I'm working on a skirt to match this pattern, but I have nothing more to share of that at this moment. And I apologize for my breathing and my voice. My allergies are hitting me again. And yeah, so moving on, I'm in need of a little break from the designing process. So I'll be knitting on other established patterns for a little while as a palette cleanser. So I will show you what I have cast on and 2 more that I have ready to cast on. So I decided to do the Ranunculus, and I have cast it on twice, and I'll walk you through why. So we can decide which one that I will continue with. This is the Ranunculus pattern by Midori Hirose. I apologize for my pronunciation as always. I will pop a picture up here for you of her pattern. And as tens of thousands of people have made this pattern, many of the podcasters that I have followed have made a few. And you know what? When I first saw this picture, I didn't really care for it, but it's starting to grow on me. I decided to jump on the bandwagon. And let's see, I'm using the same yarn that I did my love note in, because I just want to compare the 2 patterns. This yarn is a discontinued colorway of Lion Brand yarn. It's didn't work for any of my designing work because it's actually a thinner gauge than most of their other Pound of Love colorways, which is probably why this is discontinued. But I did manage to hit the gauge I needed for the Love Note, which is written for DK weight yarn. The Ranunculus is a paid for pattern, so I'll be careful of trying not to give you too much information on it. But it's written for many different weights of yarns. And it's written for the same size needles as the Love Note, a 6mm needle, which I don't know what that is in US, I apologize. But the Ranunculus has a lower stitch count than the Love Note. So the Love Note I hit gauge at 16 stitches per inch. The Ranunculus wants 14 stitches per 4 inches. So I went up a needle size. 6.5mm needles is what I needed to hit that gauge with this yarn. So that was the first decision made. So we're going with that. My gauge is actually maybe about 14.5, but I think that's the closest I'm going to get because the next needle size up is an 8mm, which I'm sure is going to be too big. But I kind of like this fabric. It's loose and drapey enough, but I don't like wholly see-through very much. Although, of course, the lace patterning in the Ranunculus will be somewhat see-through. Anyway, that's the size needles we decided to go with, 6.5mm. Then the next decision to make was which size. And the reason I wasn't attracted to this pattern is because it looks so large on so many people. I now know that this is a common style to be baggy, oversized. It was written for a ease of 45 to 60 centimeters, which is 17 to 24 inches. And by ease, it means it's that much bigger than your actual bust. But I decided to choose a less baggy size for myself. So I'm going to attempt size 1, which should give me about 6 inches of ease. Or I could try size 2, which should give me about 8 to 9 inches of ease. And actually, we don't need to make that decision until we finish knitting the yoke part anyway. So, and then the next decision to make, and it is overwhelming when you have to stop and make all these decisions, but there are many tutorials out there. I mean, the author herself has tutorials linked in the pattern. And then there's also other podcasters who have done tutorials on the Ranunculus. So it's really not that difficult. Just get over the overwhelmingness and dive in. So the 2 different cast-ons that were in the pattern, I decided to try them both. She's written them out as she's written them out to give us estimated neck circumferences for each one. And the numbers are irrelevant, one being looser than the other. So I tried this looser one first, which is a twisted loop cast on, and decided I don't think I really like that cast on. It feels too loose and too sloppy for me. So I'll show you how big an opening this is, and keep in mind that the weight of garment would pull it some more. So that's that. Because I have 2 huge balls of this yarn left, I cast on the other one. The other one is a tubular cast on, there's the cast on, which I think looks much better. It's going to be a smaller neck circumference. And by the way, she was almost dead on her estimates as to what the centimeter count of that neckline was going to be. So we're going to go with the tubular cast on. Then going with that. So, is there anything else I wanted to talk to you about this one? No. So we're going to frog this one, continue with this one, and I'll update you some more next episode. Let's toss these out of the way. Now for other knitting this summer, I've decided to make socks. Let's see how many socks I can pound out this summer. I have some of my own design ideas, but I need to practice first. I need to practice other people's patterns first to really get to know socks. So, because I've only ever made one pair of socks. No, well, one pattern. I've made 3 pairs more than 5 years ago out of one pattern. And I don't remember what the pattern was called or where it is. So, we're going to dive into socks. And I've been following Kay Litton of the Crazy Sock Lady, who does a summer sock camp. And I'm going to start with one of her patterns. And there's also Natty, known as Knitty Natty, of the Love and Stitches podcast. She's doing Sock Week. Sock Week is in reference to TV's Shark Week, which happens sometime in July. Her Sock Week is going to be July 9th to the 16th. Probably doesn't actually coincide with Shark Week, I don't know. So, because, you know, she had to pick the date and start planning before we know when Shark Week was. When TV, this is the TV thing where they do for 1 week long. I think it's the Discovery Channel does all shark-themed shows, movies, whatnot, documentaries, whatever. Anyway, that's not the point. We're doing Sock Week. So, on July 9th is the cast-on party date. I'm going to start the vanilla sock pattern written by Kay Litton of the Crazy Sock Lady. And I'm going to use this yarn. Because I'll tell you what it is in a sec. For the Sock Week challenge, there are bonus points if your yarn has a shark theme. And tell me if I'm twisting this a bit, but I think this has a shark theme. This yarn is the color of the month from Ancient Arts Yarns for May. And if you want more details, I've talked about it in my episode 8. This is the wreck of the Mary Rose. The Mary Rose was a British warship. And I reckon she's seen a lot of sharks. So I think this is appropriate for Shark Week. So that's all wound up, ready. It's by Ancient Arts Yarns here in Calgary on their sock natal base, which is 80% superwash fine merino, 20% nylon. Perfect sock yarn, I think. So, and the vanilla socks pattern by Kay Litton is a cuff down pattern with a heel flap and gusset. I've already read through the pattern. I think it's going to be very easy, very quick. And then, when I'm finished those socks, I'm going to cast on this one. The Herding Socks by Stone Knits. And this was a kit put together by Ancient Arts Yarns. So I showed it to you a few episodes ago. Again, on their sock natal base. So I'm all wound up and ready. The cats. There's 7 different cat colors in here. And these colorways are popular at Ancient Art Yarns. Died after some of their own studio cats and other cats. Let's see, I can find the tags and read you those names, perhaps. And the base yarn colorway is, where'd it go? Dune Grass is this colorway. And then the 7 cat colors are, and I will post a picture up here for you of those cat colors all laid out. Abyssinian, Tuxedo Cat, Tuxedo Lily, which I know Lily is the name of one of their cats who was a tuxedo colored cat with green eyes. That's why there's some green in that yarn. gray tabby, calico cat, a Maine Coon, and a tortoiseshell cat. I did hand wind these balls, and now they're coming unwound, all bundled in there together. And I treated myself to a new set of needles from Shawl for my sock knitting. Little minis. Short little tiny cords. 5-inch, 6-inch, and 8-inch size cords. Short little needle tips. 2-inch longs and 3-inch longs. In the sizes from 0 to 3, US 0 to 3, which is 2 millimeters up to 3.25 millimeters. Yeah. So, it's going to be a summer of socks. And then when those socks are done, I want to start working through these books, which I picked up at an estate sale last summer. Socks a la carte, pick and choose. There's cuff down ones, and then this is toe up version ones, and I'm especially interested in the toe up versions. And the book is in pieces, and then you just flip the pages to match up I thought it was divided for the toes and the heels, but you can match up the heels and the toes and the cuffs and the leg and the cuffs in multiple different ways. Then when I worked through a few of those and decided what construction I want to do my design in, I've got an idea for Junebug socks. But I have no timeline. No timeline. Gotta stop putting pressure on myself. Now, that's my plans for the next little while. Now I have a little bit of acquisitions to show you. I have a UFO that was given to me by someone else. A dear friend had to move, and she had to downsize. So she gave me a box of some yarns and some needles. And there were no labels on any of the yarn. I have no idea what any of the yarns are. And the box included this project bag, these yarns, which again, no labels, but that looks vaguely familiar. And she's already started the project. The pattern was obviously on the label that is gone, but it's a hat in a simple, oops, I'm pulling the needles out, whoops, in a simple stockinette pattern. So I will be able to finish that off, no problem. When it's finished, maybe I'll give it back to her. Wouldn't that be nice? Or I could keep it as a nice memento of her. Assuming it's adult size. Maybe it's not. Yeah, it's adult size. Bunched up on these 16-inch needles. 4.5 millimeter 16-inch needles in my favorite color. That will be useful too. So there, another WIP to add to my WIP list, which I should sit down and do a WIP count again very soon. Excuse me just a minute. Okay, let's take a moment to update that WIP count, and then we'll get back to the acquisitions. So last episode I had 9 works in progress. I finished off 3. We finished off the Numb and Difficult Shawl. We finished the spa sock. We finished the bottle sling. So that leaves us with 6. And I'll tell you what they are. There's the Papillion Shawl by Marinja Knits, which you haven't seen yet because I abandoned that one last summer. I still love it. I'm still going to finish it someday, and I'm still going to cast on another one in another color. But that's off to the side for now. I have my placemats, a design I was working on to match my grandma's tablecloth. I really would love to get back to that soon, but I just need life to slow down and my brain to get back in the right space. We have the stadium sit-upon that I've been designing. That's got lots of parts to it, though it's been taking quite a while, as you know. We have the flowers that are like partially done, and when I know someone needs a flower to cheer up, I'll finish it and give it to them, and then I'll start another one. We have my fox from the Knit a Square book, my fox that I'm making for my daughter that she doesn't know about yet. We have my 2023 temperature scarf, which is done up to the end of May. So I think next episode I will pull that out and show it to you. Now we've added the Ranunculus. We've added that hat from my friend. And we're adding the vanilla socks. So that brings us back to 9. Vanilla socks to 9. I'm gonna make it a goal to not go over 9. Not go over 10. We'll see how I do with that, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm quite satisfied. That's an easy number of projects to manage. It's okay to put some aside for a while and pull them back out again later. I'm happy with that. Now, back to acquisitions. The Pokemon yarn calendar, yarn vent, mystery yarn calendar from Fangirl Fibers, which of course I will link to her site below. Anything that I talk about, if there's a link available, I'll put it in the show notes below. And the way to find those show notes is below the video on most devices. You'll see the title, and then you'll see the word more, or you'll see ... And you click on that, and it will open up on one side or the other, whichever way you're facing. I'm not sure which direction this video actually posts in. Will be the description box, and it will have my notes and all my links in there. So the yarn calendar came, she's an online website. Somewhere in the US, I don't know which state she's based out of. It came in the mail in a poly bag. I've put it in this basket. So they're yarn individually wrapped for each day of the month of July. It arrived on June 30th, just in time. In addition to the yarns, and I've already started opening them, and I've already started doing short videos on this channel under the playlist Yarn Mystery Boxes. Yeah, Yarn Mystery Boxes. And I'll show you the extra little goodie that also came with the box, the bag. Were some Pokemon trainer balls, stitch markers. If you know anything about Pokemon, which I only know what my daughter and husband tell me and what little of it I retain, but a Pokemon trainer catches his Pokemon in Pokeballs. So that's stitch markers. And it also came with a package of wool soak. It came with a enamel pin of one of the Pokemons. I don't remember which one. It's on my daughter's hat now, which she's probably wearing because I searched the house and can't find it. And it came with this project bag, which my daughter has claimed. This is Espeon, one of the evolutions, which is an evolution of the Pokemon Eevee, which is my daughter's favorite Pokemon. So the quote-unquote evolutions are her favorite line of evolutions. I guess a Pokemon mutates or evolves into another Pokemon of the same type. Anyway, Espeon. My daughter, the resident Pokemon expert, all my daughters and my husband are Pokemon addicts. But my daughter, my youngest, has still lived with us, has been helping me with the openings. So in her videos, you will hear her in the background telling us all about the Pokemon. So here's where I've been storing what we've opened so far. So the first 4 days, the first one was Pokemon Trainer. This was water type. This was Kaboo, who is a water type or an ice type. This one represented ice type in general, I guess. And this one we just opened today, and I've already forgotten his name. The moth. Fromoth. So each yarn came with a little card describing it, except for the first one, the Pokemon Trainer card. So I've been writing on the back which dates which cards. So July 2nd, July 3rd, July 4th. And each one has come with a stitch marker. So I've started storing them on a stitch holder. It's taped together so they don't fall off. So we've got our Pokemon. Let's see, where's the camera? There's my elbow space. We've got the Pokemon Trainer. We've got Kaboo. We've got the generic ice type. And we've got the moth, whatever his name was. Moth. So there, that's what we've opened so far. You can check out our short little videos to see the rest of the whole month of July and hear my daughter explain them. So, enjoying that. So that's what's been bringing me joy the last couple of weeks. How about you? What brings you joy? I would love to hear back from you. Well, let's close this meeting. Let's close this episode with a thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please click the like button so that more people can see it, because the algorithm will, the more people like it, the more it gets showing, and the more people will like it, the more it gets showing, and that's how things grow. And if you'd like to know when the next one's getting posted, subscribe, click the notification bell, and thanks for watching. Happy knitting, happy crocheting, happy painting, happy needle pointing, happy whatever it is that you do. Go find some joy.